Hey, Brad, good to see you, man. How are you?
Good to see you too, brother. You doing all right?
I'm doing okay. I guess, well, I missed you the last time I was down in Tennessee, but I did ride
I
that
know.
Greenway.
Oh yeah. How'd you like it?
I
It's a
liked
pretty
it.
good green. It's expanding. There's a spot that it's about the one here in Murfreesboro. I think you did the one here in Murfreesboro and the one in Nashville, but the one out here in Murfreesboro is growing a lot. It's not complete, but it's pretty long.
Yeah, well, I rode for about literally 1 minute and saw Derek St. Holmes right by me. So I talked to him for a couple minutes.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. There's a bunch of people live out. Everybody like thinks that like the musicians and stuff live in Nashville. I don't think any musicians live like in Nashville. Everybody lives out the country, man.
Yeah, in Franklin or what, or about out by you. So,
Yeah.
anyways, well, good to see you. As always, you got your three times live shows coming up. It's $20 for each show, $50 for the entire package. Now, the Better Life actually turns 21 this coming weekend, or I guess next week, early next week. But you guys are celebrating the 20th because obviously you couldn't do it last year, right?
That's right. And yeah, we couldn't even like get together to celebrate it, much less, we had the whole 2020 anniversary tour going on last year and couldn't even get together to like even celebrate the 20th.
Right, right. So now it's going to be 21 years old. You got this live performance stuff. Now you guys been rehearsing all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I was not ready. I was not ready. I got back in my office the other night and got to singing some before I went up to practice, and I'm good now. But it was at first because we're kind of quiet around here. And our last show was September 7th of 2019.
Oh
I've
yeah.
sang two little private things since then by myself, but um, man, I had not stretched my vocal cords out very much lately.
Yeah, I was thinking about that because you're out there on your tractor, you're cutting down trees, you're mowing all this stuff, you're doing all this stuff, and now you got to go up on stage and sing, eh?
Yeah, for real. Exactly. I
So
just bought a skid. I just bought a skid steer like 3 days ago. Is on. It's on.
I never thought I'd be talking about skid steers when I woke up this morning, but here we are. So
Yes.
there you
Yes.
go. Yeah, the stuff you buy when you're out there in the country. Now you got some acreage out there, right?
We do. I have 50 acres and it's an old farm. So there's all these old fences and stuff like old metal fence. And that old steel is not like new steel. That stuff is really tough, man. And and when it's trees and little shrubs growing up in it, they each kind of protect each other a little bit. And it's a pain to get in and do it. Me and my wife, my 100-pound wife, and behind my house in the last 2 months, like the long handle loppers we call them. It's like long handle shrub cutters with a little
Right, right.
short blade on the end of them.
Yeah.
We wore out 4 pair of those in 2 months. Now
I know.
this ain't a crew that I hired to do this. This is me and my wife.
Right, right, exactly. I know you live out in the country, and you're a country boy, of course. Talk about when the Better Life record came out. You go from being a country kid to all of a sudden selling 7 million records. I mean, that first year must have been like ridiculously crazy, huh?
Oh my Lord. That was I think I'm still in shell shock from that one. That was a lot to take in. But it was so cool, man. It was I would say it was unforgettable, but a lot of it I kind of don't remember because it was so fast and just everything just. But it was a blessing, man.
Now, tell me some of the things you did like within that first couple years touring on that cycle of Better Life that you as a Mississippi kid could have never imagined doing.
There's a one thing that's kind of simple. Well, it's really simple and not simple all at the same time. So our first record, it blew up pretty fast, and but our first trip to Europe,
Hmm.
um, our first like real show of our own. We played like a couple of showcases over there, but our first show of our own was in Helsinki, Finland, and we were just playing like maybe a mile from the hotel. And so Matt and I we were so excited to just go walk around. We never even been to another country, man. Here we
Hmm.
was in Finland. And it was the day of the show that we got there, but it was early in the morning. And I remember walking from the hotel down to the venue, just me and him, and it was snowing, a couple of feet of snow on the ground, trudging through snow. I've never even seen snow. I'm from Mississippi. And so we go down, we were walking down the street, walk down the venue, and there's either 3 or 4 little girls standing there. And this was like 10 o'clock in the morning, waiting for the show. And like, it was a club, hell, probably 1,500 people or 1,000 people or whatever. And, but they were there. And I was like, we're in Finland. And this, I mean, it was only like 4 of them, but to me, there might have been 4,000 of them, because there was like somebody in that far away from us was waiting to get into our show to come see us play that night, you know? And that's something that will forever stand out to me as like being the moment that I realized how far music could reach.
Yeah, no kidding. Because like, you know, look, I can go to a restaurant in Detroit and someone might know somebody I know or whatever. But as soon as I leave Detroit, I'm as anonymous as anything. But here you are halfway around the planet and people recognize you.
I could not believe it. I couldn't wrap my head around it.
Yeah, no, that's great. And then, you're visiting these big cities for the first time as well. Didn't you guys do something? Maybe my memory is wrong, but did you guys do something in New York City? Were you on like one of those shows in New York City or no?
We were on David Letterman a couple times there, and
Okay.
I remember just the first time going through those going to all those shows, and going to play Jay Leno and all that stuff for the first time. Over the years we've been on Jay Leno's show more than any other band, and the first time that we were ever on his show, we had just came from Europe, and it was like one of the whirlwind tours. And I took like 2 little office chairs and pushed them up together and was curled up in them asleep. And I was probably crabby or whatever. And somebody tapped me on the shoulder, and I was like, what? And I looked up, it was Jay Leno. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. He's like, no, man. He's like, just want to welcome you to the show. Just go back to sleep. We got work to do after a while or whatever, you know. I said, thank you so much. And literally, and I ain't making this up, the last time I seen him, which has been years ago, it was one of the last years that his show was still on. It was the 7th time we had played on his show. He walked by, he stuck his head in the dressing room door and said, "What's up, Riggs?" And it's so weird to hear that come out of Jay Leno's mouth too, you know. And you talk about a great dude. He's about as good a dude to sit around and talk with as you ever want.
Did you ever get invited to see his car collection? I know you're a car guy.
No, but I'd love to.
Yeah.
But it's cool. You kind of see his car collection just being on his show, and especially being there that many times, because he drives a different car to work every day. Right. And they're not like Lambos and Ferraris and stuff like that. It's just some little kooky like something that you ain't never seen before. And one day he drove a fire truck. Like an old school fire truck. He's got his parking spot like right by the door, you know, right by the soundstage door. So it's a big roll up door going out in like a loading dock, and his little parking spot's right there. And we pulled up one day, and it was like, "Hey, you brought a fire truck."
Yeah, that is cool that he can do all that kind of stuff. One of my friends, I don't know, I can't remember. One of my friends actually got to tour his place. Said it was unbelievable. But looking back on the 2 decades of the band, you just talked about Matt and stuff. But like reflect on the band, the changes, where you came from, where you are right now.
Yeah, it has been, man. It's been a lot of ups and downs, and rounds, and double backs and this and that. But you just keep on going. We've been through some different guys in the band, and honestly, you'd be like, I've been asked, like, well, did you think that was it? I never thought that was it. Until God says you can't do that anymore. I can still do this, in some form or fashion. And us well enough that we just do it because we like to do it, man. Right. And I love doing this, and I don't do it necessarily maybe with the same reasoning as other people do it, but I never got into music for like girls and stuff like that. I got into music because I love playing music. I love singing songs, and I like beating on the drums, making racket, and so it was like people, when they asked me, it's like, well, did you think that was it? And people, because people around us thought that was it, and it was like, no, that's not it. And you just keep on going, and then, because let's be honest, there's been people been challenged a lot more than we have as a band, and have went through far more than us and persevered way harder than we've had to. And man, I look back, and And I tell you, I was thinking about it a while ago, and I mean, just literally earlier, and I think about it all the time, or a lot, is that this year has really made me appreciate, having been able to do this. And because, you think any artist with any sense, and I'm not saying by any means it is over, because it might be another year or so before there's a concert. Who knows? I mean, but eventually there will be, and I'll tell you who will be there. I'll be there. But until then, I've always tried to live as though that might be the last show I ever play. Might be the last I'll ever make off playing in the band or something. I've always kind of thought like that, and this has just put that nail further in of just living like thankful, living like it's your last time that you get to do something. And because, a lot of people this year, it was their last time to go to work or something, because it might not be because they lost their life. It might be because their job went away permanently,
right,
or something, and so it just really drove it home for me of just being thankful for everything that we get, and all the time being thankful for every time that you get to do something, and I think there's a lot of good to have come out of this year, and it's taught me a lot of retrospectively about the last 20, and about how, and I'm just really thankful for a lot of things. I'd have to talk a while to tell you all the things I'm thankful about.
Well, I know you are, because that's the kind of person you are, and you take every day in stride and stuff, and and you're a good guy for that. So with this pandemic and stuff, like you were talking about, you got 3 new songs. Did that help or hinder the writing ability, or the thought process or the creativity in the last year, or were these songs written before that?
They were written before. There were some songs that were actually part of the demo that got assigned, and
That long ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
And man, and going back and listening to some of those, it's like, ooh, yeah, wow.
And for people that don't know, you were playing drums and singing on that demo.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I did on the first record also.
Right. Yeah.
And on that demo, I'd never even recorded drums before. I didn't even know. I didn't know nothing about nothing. And they're cool songs. One of them is just cool to be like, okay. The other 2 are actually kind of cool songs.
And we're gonna hear them February 5th, right? They're part of the set.
Yes. Yeah. And yeah, and it's interesting to play them.
Yeah. It'll be cool. So were the other guys in the band all involved in the writing process with these songs, or did you just kind of find them and then redo them?
Well, they're just remastered. They're the old school recordings of them. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. So other than that, as far as the pandemic, you had Wicked Man come out. Anything else that you've been working on?
Man, I was just telling somebody a little bit earlier. I've actually been writing a lot, but in the way that I used to write. I can't not sit up in this room and write a song. I mean, I can, but it just is not going to be. It's not going to be what you think of a song that I write. Out there on those tractors and stuff, I wrote half. I swear to you, man, I wrote half that first record driving a bush hog, because that's what I used to do. And like I was telling him earlier, not enough. I remember writing that song on a tractor.
Yeah.
And like a lot of that first record, I wrote those songs like doing that very thing. And I just stop and record them and just go back to what I was doing. And so I'm going to have to get together. I'm going to have to sit down with my little memo in my phone and just put together all these ideas. But it's really not that hard to put the rest of a song together if you got a good idea for it,
Mm. Well, I'll tell you what, Brad, thanks as always for the time. And you've coined a phrase in my house many, many years ago. I don't remember if you remember this. I don't know if you remember this, but when you said to my son, "Country is cornbread," he's never forgotten that. That's one of his favorite things.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
All right, my brother. Well, listen up. Be well.
Hey, man, cornbread's pretty country.
Yeah. But hey, man, thanks so much for the time.
Thank you, brother.